Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to the TI4 America's Qualifier. We've got another game coming up here for your group stage portion of the competition. It's CNB up against North American Rejects. I'm Basecamp, he's Quantum Poke, aka Conrad, and we're going to be bringing you guys this game. Pretty interesting match coming up. North American Rejects are, of course, your #1 team at the moment. They are 7-1. Meanwhile, CNB still trotting along reasonably, but they're sitting at a 4-4 score overall. So a couple of wins could end up being very important for them here, especially depending on who else they are yet to play. They've actually only got this game against North American Rejects and a game against eHug. So we're coming down to the wire for these teams. And Conrad, any thoughts going into this match?
Just the biggest thing. Shoutouts to Murano. Just always getting picked. That's a Korok pick if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and with that said, let's jump ourselves over into the draft, get you guys a little bit of in-game audio, and get ourselves underway. So North American Rejects, they're going to be over on the Radiant side. Their preference, for anybody who is wondering, they won the flip. They chose first pick. Meanwhile, CNB lost the flip, obviously. Don't get first or second pick. Well, they get second pick in this case, and they're going to be over on the Dire side. That was their preference as far as side selection was concerned. And pretty familiar overall draft so far. CNB going to be getting rid of a Wisp and a Batrider. Still hardly any teams letting the Batrider through, aside from in specific instances. And North American Rejects going to be getting rid of the Lycan and the Tree. So while we will be plagued by a first pick Mirana, followed by a Shadow Demon, we will not be seeing the Tree Protector this game.
One thing I want to say is Brewmaster is definitely becoming the hero of this this tournament. I've seen more of that than I ever have, and I think that it shows what that slight buff to Drunken Haze and Drunken Brawler has done to that hero, and it's actually brought it back into the limelight, which has been very interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimated how much the Drunken Brawler change is an improvement to his laning. And I always compare it to Janata in that, when you have Janata, that's pretty much a last hit that you can get that the opposing hero is just completely unable to contest. And that's a guaranteed last hit every 10 seconds or so. It's such an amazing value point now as well for the Brewmaster. So yeah, I've been pretty happy to see some more Brewmaster play. I feel like he's pretty well balanced. He's exciting to watch. So I'm definitely not opposed to the Brewmaster trending right now. And again, I'll keep saying it. I thought Brewmaster was potentially viable before we started the whole train of Aghanims changes, cooldown changes, the back and forth to end up where we are now. So I'm just excited to see a little bit more Brew. And North American Rejects with a really standard opening to the draft. Just the Mirana, the Shadow Demon, doesn't really commit to anything. Probably going to be a core Mirana, knowing their players, but it could of course be support. That's something that's a little bit more popular over in the Eastern scene. They pick up the Mirana early on and just leave it ambiguous where it's going to be.
Yeah, one thing I actually want to note is that CNB being at 4-4, a win here would push them up immediately into 4th place with Union losing their last game. So and just with the tight race of all these teams, I think there's 3 teams that have a 4-4 record right now. A win here would be huge for them. While North American Rejects obviously can afford to lose a game here, but also, just their dominance just showing during this qualifier stage.
Yeah, and the final round match between eHug and... where is it? Yeah, eHug and CNB. Not the final round, but actually the 6th round for today. That could turn out to be enormously important because those are 2 of the teams that actually have that 4-4 record overall right now. So this could be a very decisive match for CNB, and we'll see what they're going to be able to do here. We are going to see a pretty early Sand King pickup. I know that in the games that I cast on the first day, Sand King was actually fairly successful. He's definitely a very strong hero at the moment. And I know that Fear and LD and stuff said that they were unconvinced by the Sand King.
It was actually, and I think all the games maybe you didn't cast, it felt like the exact opposite. It was actually the reverse. Sand King just was lackluster, wasn't able to get anything done, and very interesting to see that that's just such polarizing players. Different players utilize Sand King in such different ways.
Yeah, I think he's still definitely ridiculously strong. I don't think there's anything to sneeze at a sub 10-minute Blink Dagger. Just pretty much strictly from jungling, though. Okay, CNB just load on the team fight for them, basically. Team fight in the off lane, team fight in the mid lane, team fight in the jungle. Could even end up seeing some more team fight in the safe lane or in the secondary supports. So that's pretty much the game plan right now. And the problem always with the Brewmaster is that slight lack of late game impact, really. I feel that the Brewmaster is a good hero, but you are very much committed to trying to end the game before maybe 35-40 minutes at the latest. Yes, you can upgrade the pandas as far as a little bit of extra control, more claps, get some haze going on while you're in the ultimate. Doesn't really change the survivability, however, and that means that there is sort of a limited life to those pandas as you, or at least to their usefulness as you drag on a little bit further into the game. But we'll see if CNB can get things going on. And
one thing I was actually surprised about is the lack of a ban of a Dazzle. You know, Dazzle's shown such a strong force, and especially with Shadow Demon, already going to be able to set up Mirana arrows. Like that to me is just a given. You know, super teamfight presence, especially that CNB is going to want to go team fight. You know, they ended up taking out the Enchantress and Shadow Fiend. Both great, fantastic picks. Obviously, we've seen Snake King do super amounts of, just crush with his single-handedly with his Shadow Fiend this tournament.
Yeah, and I find the Keeper of the Light ban from NA Reject a little bit unusual. And there you go, Conrad. Making it happen. It is going to be the Dazzle pickup here for North American Rejects. So, like you said, a potentially very strong aggressive tri-lane, a lane that has a lot of killing power defensively, potentially, against the Darkseer. So that's always going to be nice to have. And yeah, the Dazzle's always going to be really nice to be able to bail out that one person that's on the receiving end of all of the hate from the Burrow Strike, the Blink Clap, and everything else that's going on. So I think a really nice pickup overall here for them. Just to finish that thought, yeah, I'm not sure about this Keeper of the Light ban. I don't feel that CNB are necessarily going to be playing much of a defensive style, trying to hold on to their towers. Maybe a little bit while they try and farm up those potentially triple Blink Daggers, but beyond that, I think it's going to be a lot of moving around the map looking for team fights. They don't have a lot to punish split push, so if North American Rejects wanted to go for something like Core Mirana and another core hero, maybe something a little bit, elusive, I think that could be a great option. Just try and split push the game towards the late game, minimize the Brewmaster's effectiveness, and just deal with whatever single core plus the Darkseer that CNB will have in the late game. But a very 6.80-esque draft. We're going to see the return of Dazzle and the return of Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, something that's also very interesting is that something I expect is Brax possibly to pick up the Tidehunter. They've had huge success with that in the offlane, and he's been crushing whatever he's been facing with that hero, especially with the new Anchor Smash. And I think it would fit great into this. Lots of setup, able to get that Blink Dagger early, and then just start taking out these heroes that need this farm to get those blinks. But a Doom comes up, and I think that's a snaking Doom for me.
Yeah, I think it fits the mold really well. We talked about the Doom pick against the Brewmaster in our previous game. Really nice against the Brew. Gives them some extra security as far as that late game is concerned. Mirana plus Doom. Exactly what you want. It's the same idea as having the Doom plus the Templar Assassin in the previous game. The Doom can tank up. He can be a monster. He can be on the front line, soaking up all of that damage, soaking up all those spells. The Mirana can go relatively glass cannon and just sit at the back, plink away at heroes, and win the team fights in that way. And just also not I don't think a bad hero at all to have against CNB. Obviously, you're not going to be getting as much as you would like out of the Scorched Earth up against the Ancient Apparition just because of the Ice Blast, but that's not nearly enough, I think, here to deter you from going for the pick. And like you mentioned, they've got Dazzle and Shadow Demon, so even if the Doom is on the front lines and he doesn't end up building a Blink Dagger, jumping on the Doom is not necessarily going to be all that profitable because there's just so many ways to bail him out and make sure that he at least gets the Doom off in the fights. So I like NAR's draft quite a bit, and it's pretty flexible as far as laning is concerned.
Yeah, it gives them a lot of options in this situation. I'm very curious to see how CNB ends up going with their lineup. Obviously, I think Darkseer in the off lane and then probably some sort of tri-lane, but seeing what that last sort of carry hero that they're potentially going to pick is going to be the deciding factor of that.
Yeah, I think the big thing for them is that their carry needs to be fairly strong as far as tri-lane versus tri-lane is concerned. There is the potential for the Rejects to run maybe the Doom up against the Brewmaster on mid. That's just going to be a farm trade, really. Melee against Brewmaster can be a little bit tough, but Doom's always going to supplement his farm with a Devour. Manikan Bottle Crow, so I don't think he really matters. I don't think he really minds too much. And then NAR, if they sense any weakness in the CNB defensive tri-lane, they could just straight up go aggressive.
I'm thinking a Wraith King pick here would actually be very useful. You know, having being able to have that extra stun along with Sand King and then proc Ancient Apparition, but and then having to be able to regen. But they go with a Spectre. That's a greedy, interesting pick. I thought we were talking about how they don't look like they want to go into the late game, but if there's one late game carry I could think of, it's the Spectre is one of them.
So it transitions the style a little bit from all-in push, end the game fast, to a little bit more of 4 Protect 1. I think things maybe not looking too bad for CNB. Obviously the Brewmaster, while he's not necessarily late game carry, he's still late game utility. And I think there is a lot to be said for the Darkseer, especially against the Doom. The Doom is normally carrying a ton of auras in the later stages of the game, so getting a Doom illusion of your own can be good. But yeah, this is not the direction I was expecting to see CNB go for. And I think that Wraith King pickup, it would have added a lot of... They would have had a really melee-heavy lineup, but it's a hero that just doesn't care about getting doomed. And that was the big reason that we started to see Wraith King really trending as far as the competitive scene is concerned. But yeah, they go for the Spectre. Makes their tri-lane fairly weak, honestly. I like this Storm Spirit pickup from the North American Rejects. It gives them another way to deal with the Brewmaster or the Sand King. You jump in, you Orchid, or the Darkseer as well. There's a bunch of heroes from CNB that want to sit at the back of the fight and be uninterrupted before their initiation happens, and the Storm Spirit is a perfect way to deal with that. Also, CNB, as far as lockdown is concerned for a Storm Spirit, they only have a Burrow Strike, and also a little bit of extra utility from the Panda ult. But that does mean that I think Korok should be able to get quite a bit done in this game.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I expected snaking on the Doom, a very iconic hero for him, at least lately. But looks like he's going to be taking that. I'm not sure where he's going to go. Probably bot lane with Fogged and 1437, with Korok obviously in the mid with a Storm. Iconic Storm Spirit that I like to say. Love seeing him. He loves doing those solo kills and just zipping all over the place, taking out heroes. And then looks like I guess Brax is having some issues currently right now. He's getting spikes according to Fogged. And looks like CNB is also fixing their Skype at the moment.
Yeah, and I will fix the overlays, so the drafting overlay is not over the game screen. Again, this is not my normal home setup, so hotkeys aren't there. I just load into the game and immediately hit my in-game hotkey, and it's not it's not set up. So sorry about that, guys, but we will remove that, get that out of the way, and it looks like Brax is back. He's going to be handling the Doom. And let's do some very quick introductions over on CNB. We have Ned on the Sand King, King RD on the Spectre. We're going to have 4DR over on the Brewmaster. Brazil is going to be on the Darkseer, and that leaves Baga to handle their secondary support, which is going to be the Ancient Apparition. Yeah.
And on the other side, we have NAR, snaking. Oh, actually, they end up switching Brax. Oh,
okay, Brax bottom.
Yeah, Brax bottom.
Snaking Doom. So
okay.
You got that one.
Okay, so I guess I fooled me once. So Brax taking up the bottom here with Korok still remaining on the Storm Spirit. Fogged taking the Shadow Demon. 1437 on that Dazzle. And snaking following up with the Doom pick.
Yeah, I think the debate would have been, do we go aggressive? Are we feeling confident about the Doom 1v1 against the Darkseer? But looks like Snaking says, look, guys, I can handle it. I got it under control. I'm going to handle the Darkseer 1v1. You guys go and put some pressure down on the Spectre. Let's just win this in the early game before we have to deal with a late game monster. The Shadow Demon is going to be leading this level 1 excursion up into the CNB jungle, but CNB going to spot them down the pass, so nothing going to end up coming out of this unless Ancient Apparition ends up a little bit out of position. But looks like everybody's going to be okay. CNB's defensive tri-lane, honestly, not that impressive. Sand King, extremely level dependent, which would much rather be stacking and farming. If the other two heroes in his tri-lane are pretty strong, the Sand King can sometimes be okay. But in general, I don't think this tri-lane is going to do particularly well, especially since Spectre is just such a sack as far as tri-lane versus tri-lane is concerned as well. You can throw a Spectral Dagger, you can act a little bit spooky, but at the end of the day, you're just not really a big contributor.
Yep, looks like both teams checking that bottom rune there, but looks like 1437 is going to get that haste rune up at mid. And looks like they're going to do offensive tri-lane into, I guess, It looks like they're going to be dual laning. Oh, no, just Baga just getting the ward down there, and Ned de-warding that ward that's blocking their small camp there, their pull camp at the moment.
Yeah, they did a nice job. They spotted where that ward was placed a little bit earlier, so they're going to be able to have their pull camp almost immediately available. The same is going to go this way, however, for NAR, as they're going to be able to get rid of the rune ward over for CNB, so a little bit of vision trading back and forth. There is actually another rune ward down on the bottom side of the map for the Dire, though. That does mean that they have very little idea of how these supports are rotating their way around, so definitely some opportunities for 1437 and the Shadow Demon to potentially set up some kills, maybe even roam towards mid. Baga's actually going to immediately start running pulls, just trying to scrape together a little bit of an experience lead if they can, and I think this is definitely the right move as far as this tri-lane versus tri-lane is concerned. They just don't want to be fighting them in the slightest.
Yeah, down here in bot lane, Brazil actually creep cutting in front of a Snaking here while trying to prevent him getting farm, but it looks like Snaking's still getting a lot of those last hits. Not too worried about that situation.
Yeah, Snaking's doing just fine. He's going to head over to the side shop right now. Just going to pick up a Quelling Blade to make life a little bit easier as far as last hitting under the tower is concerned. If he's feeling really pro, he can drop the Quelling Blade and pick it back up just to make sure that he secures every single last hit, just to modify his base damage a little bit here and there, but it's not always necessary. And Doom has pretty respectable base damage to start with, so I'm not expecting Snay to miss too many here. And I would like to see the Darkseer, if he's going to be doing the creep cutting, making sure that he takes advantage of the little bit of extra potentially available farm in the jungle. You clear out the wave really quickly when you're cutting, so you may as well just go and clear up the small camp or the medium camp in the downtime.
Something interesting that Fogs here is eating a couple of trees just to get closer here. Looks like they want to do a little bit of a sneak attack jump out in the trees here, and hopefully try and catch one of them out, get an arrow on them, and then pop the Shadow Wave after the disruption.
Yeah, and counter initiation for CNB is actually pretty garbage. So as soon as somebody gets disrupted, that hero is going to be in quite a bit of trouble. The only thing that might save them is a clutch Burrow Strike from the Sand King, perhaps interrupting something. The Chilling Touch is going to go out, and CNB looking to get aggressive, but as soon as this Chilling Touch fades, that's going to be a huge opportunity for CNB. Meanwhile, the Brewmaster manages to pick himself up a regen rune. He's actually doing a little bit of a delivery service down here towards the bottom lane, and they're going to be looking for a kill on the Doom as well. They surge an Ion Shell up the Brewmaster. He's making his way down. There is going to be TP support making its way in from the Dazzle, and NAR look for a little bit of a turnaround, but the TP is actually going to end up being cancelled, and we'll see if CNB maybe go in for round 2. That's one canceled TP. Does the Shadow Demon have one? No. He just bought his boots. The Snaking is going to be able to hide down in the trees. Maybe Tango his way across. He's still okay for now. Iron Shell doing good damage. They haven't used the clap. More Tango juking, more circling around the tower. Neither hero wanting to pull the tower aggro off. They're just move clicking for now. They drop the clap. This is an extremely long first blood attempt. There's going to be a TP threatened from the Mirana as well, but this one's not just going to be threatened by Brax. He's going to end up TPing in, though he whiffs the arrow at the end of the day. So despite CNB not picking up that kill, they do force the Mirana, the tri-lane farmer, away from that top lane, which alleviates a little bit of the pressure on the Spectre.
Yeah, something really interesting is actually for DR actually was holding the Darkseer's Soul Ring, and then actually ended up delivering it in that gank. I was like, well, a very interesting build coming out of the Brewmaster.
Oh, they jump on 1437 up on top lane. That's going to be the first blood for Ned. Chilling Touch, Burrow Strike. Easy first blood for them. And North American Rejects, I don't think this is how they were expecting the tri-lane to play out in the slightest, but not being able to maintain their pull camp ward and then being forced to TP away from the lane, things are now not looking nearly as promising, and I wonder how the North American Rejects are going to try and respond. Brax is actually just walking his way all the way back to top lane at the moment, and 1437 is going to be joining them shortly. But in the meantime, CNB have been running pulls, they've been getting their levels up, and I think they can now honestly contest this tri-lane a little bit. The only benefit that NAR have gotten out of all of this is Korok getting completely uncontested farm over on the mid lane. And he's going to have to make some plays to make up for the start that the top lane's had. The Surge actually goes out onto the Brewmaster Illusion, but they still get the clap down. Snaking getting burned up here. Is there going to be a TP from either of these defensive supports? He is being kept alive by the Scorched Earth. Iron Shell not quite doing enough. Circle around the trees, Snaking. Circle around the trees. There's going to be a kill going out of the top lane at the same time. 1437 brought down again. North American Rejects lose their Dazzle one more time on the top lane, and CNB looking really, really promising so far.
Yeah, just watching that top lane fight while you're at bot there, just seeing, 1437 just got cut out of position. Sand King was able to burrow strike into him, and then they just ended up bursting him down with a cold feet as well as a chilling touch.
Yeah, I don't know what North American Rejects need to do. They need to change something up at this point. I don't know if they can't continue to contest this tri-lane. The levels in the Sand King are just getting higher and higher. The burrow strike's getting better and better. The Spectre's right-click damage is getting a little bit more relevant since he is going for Desolate instead of Dispersion. And there are a couple more chilling touch points up over on Baga. So, yeah, I think CNB looking all right. 1437 just gonna ditch the top lane. Is gonna make his way down over into the jungle. Looks for the stack. We're just gonna verify that he gets it. Yeah. Okay. So stack successfully. Haystring gonna spawn top, and North American Rejects already trying to make the adjustments to make up for what was happening on the top lane.
Yeah, the biggest thing I was going to say is that getting Korok ahead. I think that's the important thing. Getting Korok ahead and having him in the mid game, just start ganking heroes left and right, and just being able to utilize all this free farm that he's been getting, and take it on the enemy. Especially with 4DR, just end up ganking bot lane twice. Getting Snaking once, but unfortunately the other time just not being able to do anything with it.
And while Snaking has been ganked quite a bit, he's still doing really well in terms of overall farm. 36 and 10 over on the Doom right now. So while it looks like there's been a lot of pressure applied from the Brewmaster, I don't necessarily know that pressure has amounted to too much. I think maybe even the biggest factor is that they got Brax to TP down, and that was really the beginning of the tri-lane starting to fall apart. So that's maybe the biggest win out of all of this Brewmaster rotation from CNB. But the road is still a really long one for them. They are not going to win this game unless it's because of the Spectre. That's just the nature of the pick. And so that means we're going to be looking at least another 20-30 minutes for them. North American are just going to have to see what they can get going in that time. And some pretty big decisions to be made for Korok. Some Storm Spirit players will get their core levels and these core items that you pretty much see right now, and then immediately start moving around the map looking for gank, trying to accelerate their Orchid off hero kills. Some players will prefer to pretty much just straight farm the Orchid for that extra insurance, and then only start looking for kills after that. So we'll see which side Korok falls into as far as the play is concerned.
I've definitely seen Korok play both styles, but it looks like 1437 was trying to stack this hard camp over here, but unfortunately got Mud Golems, which is not going to be helping out.
Not ideal.
Yeah, definitely not ideal for the Storm Spirit to be farming those, so... definitely see Snaking just continue to do work here at the bottom. Really not much going on, but it seems to be trading farm pretty equally with Brazil here. And up on top, Brax actually keeping up pretty well in farm, only 200, 300 behind the Spectre in net worth at this moment.
Yeah, I really like the way that they've adjusted, just kind of leaving the Shadow Demon up here. Korok, Invis, and Haste. He has Spectre on the menu here, and he gets a super long-range Vortex all the way back. I don't know what that one was, but they clean up a very easy kill on the Spectre. And well, Korok, whether or not he falls into the ganking camp or the farming camp, he spots an easy kill opportunity when it's presented, and he's going to go and snag that one for himself right now. And Snaking actually has the Doom available, Phase Boots and a Hand of Midas up for him. So this 1v1 matchup turning out fantastically against the Darkseer. And Fog's going to make his way down just to see if they can maybe use this Doom to pick up a kill. So despite North American Rejects, early game looking a little bit shaky as far as the tri-lane versus tri-lane execution was concerned, things looking a lot better as the lanes start to break down and ganks start to happen.
And looks like Fog coming in from behind here, hopefully trying to get something on Brazil. Just used Surge, able to move around here, but looks like Snaking and Fog going to set something up here.
And Doom comes out, no Surge. Brazil, reasonably tanky, but I just don't think there's any chance that he survives things here, especially with the Soul Catcher. So one more slap from Fogged is going to finish up that kill, and with that, North American Rejects start to close the gap 2-3, the discrepancy as far as kills are concerned. 500 experience in their favor, and actually almost 1,500 gold going their way as well, so things looking pretty good. Meanwhile, for RD, how are things for him? 1,600 gold towards his Blink Dagger. Ned also doing quite well, 1,800 gold over on the Sand King, but he did secure the first blood this game, so that's going to accelerate that up quite a bit. And well, while we've been talking about Korok as the potentially big ganker for NAR, I think the Sand King can get quite a bit of work done here as well. So we'll have to keep a close eye on Ned and how he chooses to move around the map once this Blink Dagger is online.
Yeah, one nice thing is 1437, with all the ganks on top and bot lane, he was able to get a little bit of extra farm here in mid, and he's been diligently stacking both hard camps on Radiant side there for hopefully get Korok even more buff than he already is at the moment. Already he's got his first Oblivion staff, obviously going for the Orchid for the gank factor.
Yeah, Jesus. 7 CS a minute and a kill already up for Korok. Things are looking amazing for him, honestly. He is keeping pace with a Doom, which has both Devour and a Hand of Midas. So that's just really a credit to Korok here. 147 is going to poke his head in over at mid. Level is looking all right for him. He has managed to secure his level 5. Just kind of chilling out and stacking and soaking what experience he can. So looks like things are going all right there. Meanwhile, Ancient Apparition also getting some pretty good levels up on the top lane because the Sand King is primarily jungling. So he's almost got his Ice Blast ready. And it looks like we should just be heading in towards a pretty entertaining, I would say, high action mid game here.
Brazil seeking out some of these stacks here. I think he actually ends up turning around. I thought he was going to end up getting that stack away from the Radiant team here, but looks like Fog kind of hanging around, keeping an eye on things and pinging out that camp. Hopefully trying to get more and more stacks to get this team more and more ahead.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for Brazil there is 4DR gets caught at mid. They need the burst damage, however, otherwise he's just going to pop the Primal Split. Nice response from NAR. They see the split being used. They're just going to try and retreat out. Do we have the micro here from the Brewmaster to pick up these kills? Not going to happen. Moonlight Shadow going to be popped just to ensure that, and well, they get the Brewmaster ultimate out for very little investment at the end of the day. The Brewmaster just picked up his Blink Dagger as well, so what would have pretty much been, I would say, a guaranteed kill with that first rotation, not going to happen. Ned, meanwhile, Epicenter up in the top lane, blinks in, but he whips the Burrow Strike. Brax just going to be able to try and TP out. Is the right-click damage there? Not quite. Maybe that little bit of extra attack speed slow added in 6.81 actually factoring in there as Baga was just lining up one right click as he made his way in. Ned just sandstorming over in the camp for now. However, Baga not going to be quite so lucky. Korok going to pick up another kill here, and the Spectre already demonic purged up. Korok rolls across, looks for the kill secure. Not going to happen. Fog adds another kill to the tally, and North American Rejects just making things happen.
Yeah, and look what Korat's got bottled. The beautiful regen rune. Able to, stay up here and just in case anybody chooses to defend, he's going to be able to take anybody out, potentially. And looks like he might even be going for 4 DR here, activating the regen rune. But looks like he's just going to hang back a little bit, getting a little bit of extra, a little bit on his passive on Overload. But luckily, 4DR able to blink backwards there.
Yeah, so Korok just being a little bit cheeky at the end of the day. Biggest problem for CNB, honestly, they're playing 4v5. They picked up the Spectre. The Spectre needs a lot of farm. The Spectre needs a lot of space. And unfortunately, the rest of the lineup is just not able to provide it. The mech is not up on the Darkseer just yet because he ended up going back for Arcane Boots as well. So that's slowing that mech factor down. And both the Spectre and the Darkseer are contributing very little. So it's making life pretty difficult for the Brewmaster. Ned's going to end up being arrowed. I don't know how they found that arrow in amongst all the creeps, but Brax did it. And that's going to be a very nice kill picked up for North American Rejects. They've got the mech over on the Doom. They're hammering away at this tier 1 tower. Orchid almost complete on the Storm Spirit. And CNB honestly just falling apart a little bit. Baga, say goodbye to him as well. Killing spree picked up for Korok. And yes, CNB just, I think, underestimating how aggressive North American Rejects could get with this draft.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances there with that arrow. I couldn't believe it got through all those creeps as well. And then just end up having, sorry, I can't remember his name, Baga, just getting caught out trying to
ultimate bottom lane, snaking in some trouble. He does have the Scorched Earth for a little bit of extra survivability. The Moonlight Shadow pops, and they got nothing. No anti-invis. That's the Brewmaster ultimate down. It's time to push. Arrow's going to fly in, catches Net again. Another death coming in here. 1437 makes his way in for that one. There is going to be a blink away from 40R, so it looks like he should be alright. In the meantime, Spectre just going to complete a drum up on the top lane, so still just such a long distance away from being at all relevant in this game. And North American Rejects just going to make sure that Snake King gets topped off. Salve and a Tango passed over to him. He's just going to pick up a drum to help out with a couple of his mana problems, courtesy of this mech. Probably needs a stick as well, maybe sub out the Culling Blade for a magic stick, but not going to be too much of a problem. There is an Ice Blast coming in for CNB. Brazil vacuums too. Brax actually going to end up leaping as a result. Clap comes in, but CNB without the Panda ultimate, I'm not even sure if they can make this defense.
Yeah, and looks like, Korok's finally online, getting that Orchid. Like, that's definitely how he's going to start this fight. I think he might have spotted Baga here, expecting him to go the chop. Oh, tries to get some vision.
Baga, if you go for these creeps, you're a dead man.
And looks like CNB looks like they want to defend this tier 1 here, but not sure exactly what they're going to do, but looks like Korok.
Baga. Jump, Vortex, Arrow. Maybe Korok considers it. Zips over the trees.
Sees him.
Zip, zoop, boop. Here we go. Baga in some trouble. Couple of right clicks. Korok knows that he has the kill with the Remnant. Just gonna leave it there. Zips himself back to safety. And they can also see Ned up on this high ground as the Remnant was left in the trees. So, okay, looks like it's not going to be relevant. They're not going to try and get any push out of just the Ancient Apparition pickoff, but just more kills going the way of North American Rejects as far as the gold and experience are concerned. 5k experience in their favor right now, heading towards a 10k gold lead. Snaking is just absolutely massive over on his Doom, and they're looking like they're in a pretty good position just to look to close this game up pretty soon. Even King RD gets caught, leap in, arrow, silence, mega kill streak, 16 minutes into the game for Korok. CNB are getting so punished for taking the Brewmaster away from mid lane and giving Korok absolute free farm.
Yeah, just Korok showing why he's so strong on this hero, and just seems to get every rune that he's going for.
Haste invis again.
Like
there you go.
The combo is just too much, and looks like Ned's probably gonna get caught out here. Looks like he's trying to go for Brax. AAL'd off the mark.
Yeah, the Hunter's about to become the hunted. He's smoked. He wanted to get an Epicenter Ice Blast kill here, but yeah, that's not the case. Arrow's gonna scout him out. Korok jumps in. Arrow is going to end up scouting him as Ned blinks towards the east. Burst Strike helps keep him alive a little bit longer. Jumps into the Sandstorm, keeps on running, will he be able to escape here? Poison just going to connect, and Fogged, popping that one off, is going to be able to get the kill. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Snake King on the hunt. Brazil has to run for the river here. There is going to be a TP coming in as well from the Spectre of all people. Do they have enough damage to kill off Snake? He's still got the mech. He's actually baiting them in here. They don't want to be fighting for too long. Ice Blast wildly off the mark. Not going to connect. That is the Doom invested, but I think North American Rejects still fine to look to pick up this fight, and King RD just walks forward to hit some creeps while the Moonlight Shadow is going. He's going to get bursted down immediately. There is going to be the Brewmaster ultimate popping, but where is the anti-invis? Does end up fading. 1437 going to end up graving himself for now. He's actually working in another Orchid of his own. One more right click is going to bring him down. Nice micro here from the Brewmaster, but I don't know if they have enough left in the tank to kill off Snake King. Doesn't actually have enough ready for the mech. Clap still going to connect on the very edge, and there's a huge zip in from Korok. Drags back 40R. Can he look for anybody else? Baga trying to scoop back to base as fast as he can. Meanwhile, top lane, Brax will be brought down by the Epicenter, so Ned at least getting a little bit of value out of that Blink Dagger pickup.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say is that, Korok to the early game is Brax to the mid game. Brax has just been free farming up top, having very little impact other than getting that kill on that Spectre there, and just having the rest of the team, go ham, especially Korok, just maneuvering everywhere. Fog seems like he's always in the right place at the right time, and Snaking coming around with that just perfect timing. NAR playing great right now.
The support play from NAR has just been so nice. Aside from the tri-lane execution right at the very start, they've been in the right places at the right times. They found their farm. The Graves and the defensive disruptions, as well as the initiating disruptions from Fogged, have been great, and well, as a result, the NAR supports are now more farmed than almost anybody over on CNB. Ned's gonna get jumped, silenced up, brought down by damage again from the Shadow Demon, and NAR just in a crushing position. They've got vision all over the dire side of the map, and CNB just can't put a team fight together. The Darkseer and the Spectre are starting to feel really useless, and that's a sad state of affairs when they are the two most farmed heroes on your team.
Yeah, look at Korok once again, getting that regen rune. Like, I swear he's got all the rune luck this game, yeah.
He's got the schedule.
Yeah, he's got the full schedule. Yeah, and just all three cores on NAR just doing well. Oh, teamfight breaking out.
Fogged, jumping around. 1437 eating a little bit of damage from the Haunt. Who has the Spectre actually jumped to? It's Snake King. And one more big crit. The Soul Catcher was actually thrown out by Fogged. He TP'd to Snake King and just got absolutely chopped. So a little bit unfortunate for him. And Fogged feeling like we have this game in the bag. Dagon time.
Yeah, showing the state of this game, unfortunately. Looks like they're going max aggression, all the damage, and just I don't think CNB can do anything at this point. They're just a little bit too far behind. Spectre especially, she just seems to be unable to find farm anywhere on this map.
Yeah, do you feel like Korok might go for a Dagon as well, or is he too serious business for that?
You know, he's got this null. He's got the Null's Talisman. Of course, that was his first game item. I don't know actually what he'll plan to go next. Maybe I could see a Hex if he's playing a little more serious. If he wants to have a little more fun, I could see the Dagon coming out for sure.
Yeah, and I think somewhere in between the Bloodstone is also a pretty reasonable pickup this game. Like we talked about, there's just so little incentive to go for a BKB. So long as you've got the mobility and so long as you're not getting Burrow Struck, you're just going to be able to wreak absolute havoc. So this last pick, Storm Spirit, I think extremely heads up from NAR. Oh, Ned! Oh no, the zip through. Ned gets caught out again. Korok finds him. There's the Soulburn damage going to be enough. Just ensures it. He's got another regen rune, you know. So he's going to be okay with that one, spending as much mana as he needs to. CNB, meanwhile, 4-manning the bottom lane. They get their first tier 1 tower of the game, but Spectre with just nothing to show for the last 21 minutes, and with Necrobook popped off mid, Snaking and the rest of the NAR boys make their way straight up onto the high ground. Korok just threatening with this regen rune, and CNB late to the defense. That tier 1 tower actually going to end up costing them the tier 3 as well. They do have the glyph, and they do not... Okay, they don't have a haunt available for 5 seconds. Spectre isn't even carrying a TP. He needs this haunt available. It's just barely up, but the ranged Rex is already dead. Now they go in, Ned with the epicenter. They're focusing on a Korok. Can they burst him down? They will be able to. The Panda ultimate pops off. But 1437 just able to run away with the Moonlight Shadow. The dust pops, but it's only going to catch Snay. Looks like they did manage to catch 1437 on the edge as well. He's got an Orchid picked up. Will grave himself for the time being. Gets stunned up one more time. They send the Doom up into the air. Snaking, what can he do? Throws the Grave out. Well, throws the Doom, not the Grave, over onto the Darkseer. Baga just getting right-click down. Snaking going ham. Double kill for him. Can he make it 3? Ned going to be able to blink away in just a second. Goes to the Burrow first. Blink to follow. Snaking, however, still undeterred. Going to swing over towards the mid lane. 4DR pops out of his ultimate. And he's going to be okay, but North American Rejects looking like this is going to be a lane of racks. And meanwhile, the Spectre's still bottom lane. He'd never haunted in. He's going to get a tower. But is that worth a Rax at the end of the day? Not even remotely.
Not even close. And I don't know, will he even pay for his life? Yes, he will. Korok comes in, takes him out in standard Korok style. Orchid, combo, done.
Yeah, arrow into the Burrow Strike, plus the Dagon Fog. Wicked 6 streak for the Shadow Demon. They actually canceled Brax's TP so that he couldn't go and kill the Spectre, but he just turns things around right away onto them. Brax, no fear, leaps into the middle of everybody. You gotta blink before you clap for the Brewmaster, so just gonna be a little bit of a wasted Thunderclap there. Monster kill streak for Fog. Brax still on the run. 4DR trying to close the gap, but the mech from Snaking gonna keep the Mirana looking healthy. Arrow scoots through as Ned, after this buyback, looking for a Blink Burrow Strike. Not going to be able to find it, and Snaking and Brax wanting to continue fighting here. There is a catcher up over on 40R. Fog looks like he will finally go down, but Korok joins the fight with perfect timing. Triple kill so far. Not going to get the double kill so far. Not going to get the triple. Kill gets secured by Brax with the arrow, and that's just a GG. Super convincing 23-minute performance from North American Rejects.
Yeah, and North American Rejects showing why they're the top team in this qualifier right now. No doubt in my mind that they're going to go into tomorrow feeling really good about the performance today.
Yeah, and I get the feeling that they are going to be going forward tomorrow. I think a top 4 berth, all pretty much guaranteed. I think it's 100% guaranteed.
I think this win makes it 100% guarantee. Yeah,
that leaves them at an overall record of 8-1. With 1 game left to play against, is that Union? So should in theory be another win for NAR, and that would leave them with a 9-1 overall record, which would pretty much be, I think, a guaranteed playoff berth. Guys, given that this game was pretty quick, I'm going to guess that there are actually other matches still ongoing right now for a little bit of a sample as to what is happening. So this was CNB versus NAR. Meanwhile, over on the lounge stream, so BTS 3, we've got Union versus Revenge. Over on the BTS 2 stream, which is the upstairs stream, we should currently have No Earth Spirit versus Shadows being cast by AC and Gods. And finally, over on the mainstream, BTS 1, I believe that should be Mott and Merlini covering Liquid versus Top 5. So if you want some Liquid action, your number 2 team so far in the group stage, you can probably go and check that out at the moment if they haven't ended up their game. Well, if they haven't ended their game in similar time here. And so that's pretty much it. Conrad, any closing thoughts?
No,
on this game.
The only thing I have to say is just look at NAR. I think
they're doing damn well.
They're doing well, and they're looking stronger than ever. I think a lot of people, really felt that NAR and Sneaky Nick's Assassins were the top two, but obviously Liquid showing that they're also up, should be up there, and I think they deserve it too. But just NAR, I think on another level right now, and I think they're actually going to take the qualifier tomorrow is what I'm going to think.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with Liquid. I've just been happy to see that they're a little bit more on form, looking a little bit more comfortable, because I think that was the one team. While nobody would place them outside of the top four, people were not quite sure what kind of shape they were in. But it looks like Liquid have kind of sorted things out, and they've been looking pretty good. So that's going to wrap things up for us.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to say is Snaking's performance today, specifically in this game on the Doom, both games actually, having that Midas, just getting effective and getting way ahead. I think this game shows when Snaking gets ahead, you can show what he can do. And also, shout outs to Fog on the 8-0-9 Shadow Demon.
I thought he was going to die right at the very end there, but looks like he managed to survive. So.
I think he did everything perfectly. That was quite a performance.
Very nicely done by him, getting some Dagon gaming going on as well. And I think to reinforce that point about Snaking, I think a lot of people's criticism about him on previous teams would have been that he was a little bit inconsistent. The games where he was good, he was really, really, really good. And the games where he had a bad game, got off to a bad start, he just absolutely fell apart as a player sometimes, and had some shocking performances. But he's definitely brought his worst game up a lot, and his best game has stayed at the same level or even
higher,
or even
in some
improved.
cases, yeah.
So yeah, I would have to say that Snaking's been playing really well for the Rejects. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Up next on this stream, What is Hip is going to be back for, I believe, Union versus NAR. So we're going to be seeing some more North American Rejects action over here. Not sure who he's going to be co-casting with. We'll go and sort that out during the break. And that game is scheduled to start in about 40 minutes time. 30 minutes time,
30 minutes. That's 40 after.
Yeah, so 40 after the hour. So if you want to go and take a break, go and check out what's happening on the other streams. That would definitely be encouraged. That's going to be goodbye from us. You can, of course, follow us if you want. I'm at Baseskip. This is Conrad at Quantum Pope. It's been good casting for you guys, and I'm sure we'll see you more over the course of the rest of the qualifiers. So thanks, and we'll see you later.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody.